like the public channel. Do we need to move?
Now we're good. Nobody's gonna jump into this
All right.
time of day. Well, because
All right,
remember,
cool.
I put rules on the Discord that you have to agree to. So nobody that normally was doing that is currently even allowed to see our channels. All right, let's see what we got. We're gonna go back to the Gygax days, boy.
Pretend in a world that isn't real.
I played first when I was.
I have like
started with
my
8 or
little
9.
Since
pillow
college,
full
I
of
started playing
dice with me
in
as well.
1991.
I should have grabbed mine. Damn.
I'm wearing a hat that's like D&D themed right now too.
My sisters, my friends.
He got me hooked.
Like,
I've been playing
like I
ever
said,
since.
I've got
This
a
was, like,
big
some of the
old
best times I've
D&D
ever had.
tattoo,
It's
so I would say I'm a wee bit of a fan. But I'm not really happy with where Wizards of the Coast have been taking things over the past few years. So we'll see. Like I was a 3.5 guy. I played a lot of 5th.
Is that we all love D&D.
Bit more of a Pathfinder person now.
That's the joy of collaborative story.
I like how everyone skips 4th. Everyone just agrees that 4th sucks.
4th didn't happen. We went from 3.5 to 5th edition.
To 5.
Good friends in this life.
Yeah,
that I
there was
have.
a 4th
I
edition.
found
It's called
playing
Pathfinder First Edition.
This is
Because
our
that's what
tribe.
everyone
D&D
played
is our tribe.
when 4th edition was relevant.
You can actually let your imagination go wild.
The world is your
yeah.
oyster. The possibilities.
Hey, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing you a favor.
Hey, Brennan! We love Brennan Lee Mulligan here on Intergeeked Up.
Yeah, Brendan Lee Mulligan.
more varied than it's ever been.
Mine might be like slightly delayed.
Oh, it is? It happens.
It's different bonding.
We'll be close. We'll be it's close-ish. Of course, they're going to be
Yeah.
showing tons and tons of Critical Role because they're like so is this a 6th edition? This is 5.5 more than 6th edition. It's a revision to the current rule set, and a lot of people are
Yeah.
not happy about it. Other ones are like, well, because they keep getting called out for bad choices, and then they keep like going back on them and saying, all right, you guys were gonna leave us, so we're gonna change it. Like the fandom has happened to bully Wizards of the Coast into not messing up their own property at this point, but they're still losing people along the way.
That teaches you how to play.
Because there's just I can discuss like the politics of Hasbro and Wizards probably along with this some because it's gonna come up. The open gaming license is gonna come up, you know.
Changes to the game based on what the fans have said.
Now, because here's the thing: if they had to make it where the normal 5th edition is compatible with 5.5, because that was their original promise, and then they went back on that promise. The fan base like was in an uprage, so now they had to revise it back to yes, your old edition can still work with this updated edition.
Brand new
Yeah, so it's like
That's why it's a revision. Otherwise, it's 6th
Yeah.
edition. They kept trying to go back on that because they wanted to make something exclusive to their online new platform that they're trying to milk people month for month for. Because they want to basically be like the Netflix of tabletop gaming. My problem is, if you're going to try and be the Netflix of tabletop gaming, you have to do more outside of just a fantasy genre. You got to go and doing your franchise. If you're with Hasbro, for freak's sake, go and put the Power Rangers game in there. Go and put the G.I. Joe game in there. Like, why in the world would you only have D&D separate from all of your other properties when they also have tabletop gaming, like freaking games? Make it one package. It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. This is why people get mad at them. This is why I get mad at them.
To give our fighters
I'm trying really hard not to laugh right now. I'm just listening to you rant, and I'm like, dude, I'm just here for a good time.
I know you are. Pancake is so much more civil on Wizards than I am. I hardcore rage on that company.
Dog,
they have a set of
I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, I think it is stupid. But it's like, it's one of those things that's like,
we've been working with our
I don't know.
Well, but that's my thing.
D&D is just the most popular system.
But
so
that's my problem, though. Is 5th edition is the most popular system. Why not put other settings with that same rule set if you want to have a full package? You know, what if I don't want to do fantasy? What if I want to do, you know, more of a cyberpunk type setting? Give me a cyberpunk style book with a 5th edition rule set in that same package if you want me to do a monthly thing like they're trying to do with, like, what is it? Is it D&D Beyond? Is that the one that they're still sticking with?
Yeah, that's the one. You either pay monthly or yearly.
Right. So make it an all-encompassing. Keep the same rule set, but change the settings. That's all I'm getting at. Hasbro has a million franchises that they could just make 5th edition setting books for.
A number of the people who've already seen
That's my
the
problem.
It's
with
just,
that.
it's just a slight tweak that just needs to happen.
Just that
all
slight
that
tweak
needs to
would be
happen.
game changing. Open it up to where people can publish their own content and make money for it on your platform. Like if I want to go in and use my story with your rule set, publish it on your platform so you get your percentile of it, which I'm totally fine with. But instead, they're just like, nope, it's only D&D. And so it's like, I'm out then. I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm already looking at Fabula Ultima. They have an OGL themselves.
Items in the DMG. Many of them are new.
And the OGL is like the
Open
people are allowed to
gaming
make content.
license.
I think the
Yeah, there we go.
The open
Also,
gaming
also-
license is what makes you able to go and create your own 5th edition content and publish it, as long as you're not using any of the intellectual properties that are linked with the Dungeons and Dragons property. You have to use either open source things like dragons or goblins or make up your own stuff. But anything that
You can't
is
use like Tiamat.
you can't use, or you can't use like a owlbear, for example. You know, actually, I don't know of owlbear because I think they might have owlbears in the much superior system of Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Yeah, I think Owlbear is a lot more global.
for the monsters and
I love Pathfinder though, and their combat system is superior. I'm curious if they're going to have a difference in attack of opportunity, because that's one of my biggest issues with 5th edition is when you move, literally everything tries to kill you. So it makes it where you go up to creature and stay there until it's dead. There's no movement strategy a lot of the times in 5th edition, and I think that it is a huge hindrance when you are dealing with people that do enjoy being able to use a grid-based system more thoroughly.
We're working on
Is this model profitable for them? Yes and no. This is a platform that is being currently rolled out. So a lot of this is, they basically bought a company, integrated a lot of its stuff, and now they are kind of, this is them, this right here is them putting it on display of what it's going to look like, essentially. That's what this stream is going to be about.
Hang out with your friends to get to know new people.
Is us kind of seeing what 5.5 and their D&D Beyond system with it integrated is going to look like. Will it be profitable? We don't know yet. But like Dungeons and Dragons is still the largest intellectual property in tabletop role-playing games, to the point that I would say that it takes up about 70% of the market overall.
One of the ways that we're thinking about
That's how large it is in perspective of other tabletop games. It's about 70% of it. So it's gonna make money. It's just the fan base that is making content for them is trying to tell them, hey, this is how you can do it, and it'll be an even bigger thing. Instead, they keep trying to find more ways to just simply milk the fan base. For example, the OGL scandal of 2 years ago.
And it's kind of surprising how many people.
Which they
years
tried,
ago already?
It's got to be at least 2, if not longer.
Is a book of 10 short adventures that all feature dragons and dungeons.
Oh, I know, right?
Also,
This is going to probably be a pretty long stream. All right, starter set, fall 2025.
new starter set
they also dropped the new. I don't know if you were paying attention. We were like mid rant. They dropped a new DM guide and a monster manual.
Yeah.
So the first
Do we
Like an
know,
updated version.
do we know the release dates?
doesn't know how many
I think they might already be out.
Oh, so they're like
They didn't say release date. It was they just flashed it up on the screen.
Okay.
And people were like talking about it.
I'm not gonna buy it.
And it takes the players to
Nah.
kind of these
The only one that like
settings.
people might consider is the monster manual because it's gonna be updated.
Well, no,
But like
so-
you probably don't need a DM guide.
Well, because I have a bookcase that is full of tabletop books already. My main reason, and I do say that their starter sets are a great way to get people introduced. I've bought multiple of them for people. They are really good for getting people started into it. And getting started into tabletop games in general. There's other systems that do have starter sets if you want to try Pathfinder instead. A fantastic one to also try. But
beautiful play events. Part of the way that we're doing
I
that
just
is game stores will now get
I don't
early
I don't have
access
any
to
intentions
our releases.
of playing a Dungeons and Dragons game
Those
within the
releases will be
next 6
supported by
months
play
at least.
programs,
That would
so
be
that
I have a pretty
hey, you've got your book early,
build
and,
slate
here's some adventures
right
to
now,
play
and
along
nobody
with it
has
with all of your
approached
friends
me
in the store.
about being being in a Dungeons and Dragons game as of right now.
One thing I love the most in this world is that's when I can bring Magic and D&D together.
I really don't have a reason to get the new system. I don't know. So I know a lot of people are loving Magic the Gathering crossovers. I'm not the biggest fan. I'll tell you why. I don't like a lot of the crossovers because Magic the Gathering has its own lore. It has its own very rich lore, and I just don't think that being gimmicky and slapping a bunch of faces are needed for an already very well respected tabletop trading card game. I think it's cheap.
My game table more,
and now it's the primary thing they do. It went from like a lot of like there's books where you can go and read about the stories of things that are happening in the world of Ravnica, the Magic the Gathering setting.
We're so excited to
and they just decided, nah, nobody cares about that. What if we slap a bunch of characters on the front of it? It's very gimmicky as opposed to good for gameplay is my problem.
Will be coming to the D&D Beyond marketplace.
Because Magic is a very fantastic game for strategy. I want innovative new strategies, not new picture art.
To return to D&D's.
I've been getting really into Magic the Gathering. I'm like confident we had this like same exact conversation like a couple of weeks ago. So I was talking about how I was getting into Magic, and you were talking about like, man, I just hate the crossovers.
It's too much to fit into one book. So our return to the realms is going to be in
Lego minifigures 4,000% sure. There are people that use Lego sets for their table.
For D&D stuff,
yeah. Instead of using like they literally just do the whole thing in Legos, and people get so into it. I've wanted to do a Lego like full-on campaign at some point. It just I had to do it locally, and I don't play a lot of local games anymore.
New spells, new kinds of spells.
I think the closest, the place where I go play Magic at is like 30-40 minutes away. That'll be like the closest thing I can do.
Recognize like the Harpers.
That's a travel.
The Red Wizards of Thay, and maybe a couple of new ones that
it's I mean, it's not like an hour. If it was like an hour job, I'd be like, oh, but it's like 30 minutes. Like I'm okay with like needing for 30 minutes to like go play Magic for like 5 hours. That's the thing. That's the straight up.
Yeah, because when I was going up there, I was usually playing
you can take your adventure
at least 3+.
We've got sort of classic D&D fantasy where you have all these little isolated towns.
So I am, this is very, very high fantasy, Lord of the Rings inspired art.
Maybe you're having some fairy stories.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Now, that's more Miyazakian right there.
Without violence. That's all the Moonshae Isles. And then finally,
I mean, I'm here for, here's my thing.
Delivers on a different play style.
Like, settings books are fun, and, like, world that you can but 99% of the time I create my own setting.
I'm thrilled to be creating.
That's my problem.
It's just, I mean, like,
players and DMs that will
a lot of people, I feel like, take inspiration from their settings.
And that's cool. That I totally.
But no one, like, bases.
Really
like nobody goes in there and like even I don't even buy a lot of the module books to actually play the module. I get it more for inspiration, like Wild Beyond the Witchlight or Strixhaven. Both of those I got just to like have some systems if I wanted to run a circus or a school-based system. Okay, so here we go. Here's the dates. Okay. Soon. It's like the 17th.
I saved you.
Yeah.
And I'm
There's gonna be a lot of people.
So many of us played Baldur's Gate 3.
Alright, I need to do a stream. I just need to get my party together for a Baldur's Gate stream because I do want to get a group together to actually play through it.
And play D&D with all of these cool 3D environment pieces and miniatures that come with the product. You can start experiencing a role-playing game, but in a more digital-friendly format.
This is essentially what Tailspire does. It's just they're throwing in Baldur's Gate, you know, with a theme package on it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's great. If they make a great tabletop system that's better than Tailspire, I am so happy for them. Let me play other things in it, though. It can't just be fantasy. Because I play so many other game settings. I don't want to only be stuck in Dungeons and Dragons land. I do more than that's what I'm worried about. I've got to see other game systems in it other than just medieval fantasy.
Then yeah,
that's what
I'm hoping
for me.
Fast fun if you played with mini.
I don't mind playing in the 5.5 system if I've got the options to make it work.
Yeah, I feel like there's too much holding them back. But
they're being held back by their own ignorance because they own other properties that they run systems in.
I'm still very excited for like this though. Like me personally, if it's only D&D, I'm probably just going to stick to Tailspire. But I'm very, very excited to see where this will lead to get new people into the game.
I mean,
I think this is a great
with
gateway
Dungeons
for
and
new
Dragons.
people.
It is a great thing. You get it all one big package, but that package is just very thin, in my opinion.
Different scale, sizes,
Yeah.
look of it. The awesome thing about D&D is you can continue to get
It's just a better. Okay, well,
and then you can go back
buy
to
Hero Forge. It's just a cooler Hero Forge. That's a shame.
Is it though?
Your individuality within the group.
That's the thing. It's only cool if it can do more than Hero Forge, and can it? Can it, or does it only do medieval fantasy?
Only do medieval.
We wanted to feel kind of
That's the thing.
It's.
If I go to Hero Forge, I've got a million different types of things that I can make outside of just
an idea that's
medieval
called
fantasy.
module. It's a D&D mini
Yeah.
adventure meant to last a few hours. Just
I
so that
will
you can get
admit,
a taste or get a part
if
of
I'm
the
making
adventure.
a medieval
We wanna
fantasy
tell the whole
character,
story for you.
I do
So
like
we
the
give you
look of these
places
characters
on the
more
they
than
do.
Hero.
They do. They look great.
You can go to a mine,
They look
you can go
better.
to town.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hero Forge. I'm sorry. I love you. Mwah.
Characters,
but
adventures, and so
Hero Forge
it's
just
a
has
great
so much
place to
so
start
much
your
versatility.
modding games more than making everything whole
It's
cloth,
just
which is
good.
faster and more fun for
Jared
most
says
people.
stat sheets are just too much for his ADD brain. He's got too much unga bunga brain for a lot of these games,
The
man.
level builder is sort of like the
That's why I'm
best
medicated for it.
miniature set
Oh
that
yeah,
you
you gotta
could
get
have
medicated just to be
at
able
your
to play
fingertips.
tabletop.
I gotta get
role-playing
medicated
games.
so that like when I make a character, I can actually like go through the steps instead
I
of
mean,
like
so
here,
this
here,
is
here,
essentially
all the
just
places.
Tailspire. That's what this is just Tailspire, though.
It's just Tailspire, yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily better. I just think that we'll see because we don't know for sure yet. We'll see. Tailspire's got a lot in it, like a lot.
Traps, right? We have
And
gizmos,
plus,
like
Tailspire is very
clips that go
much
up and down, all
for the
that
community,
stuff.
and they let you
Really make
import
that
assets.
storytelling
And that's
Make
the
your own
thing, because
assets
people
and
can,
import.
people can take their own 3D assets and put them in there. I'm talking characters and everything. So you're gonna find, like I said, I found full-on Fallout assets, like power armor,
Yeah.
everything that I needed, like different robots and everything, for free, just right there in Tailspire. I mean, I know I paid the one time, and that's the thing, I paid the one time for Tailspire. You're gonna have to pay monthly for
All
this.
sorts of kinds of games and all sorts of
That's the
types of
thing.
toys that
You have to pay
will
monthly
add
for
here.
this. I don't have to pay monthly for Tailspire. I paid one time, and I have community creation stuff coming out constantly.
I paid $25, and only one person has to own Tailspire in your group now. That's the glory of it.
It's even better, yeah.
Only one person has to add, because then
Yeah.
everyone else can get the guest pass.
Yep.
And if you just invite them to the seat, everyone can like build stuff together. Everyone can make stuff.
Yep,
play
so
together.
it's gotten even better with it because now, yeah, like you said, you can guest people in. Sorry, Jared, that wasn't a thing whenever we got it. That's a newer thing where you can just guest people in so that not everyone has to go and buy the full version.
I found that out
Yeah,
like
right before
30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Same.
same. It's cool that that's a thing though, but Jared likes world building, so maybe he'll end up actually just enjoy making a world in the game at some point.
You can easily upload that through D&D Beyond's map feature. With just one click, you can share that map into
I do
project
like
sigils,
token
drop-down
mapping. I do
menus,
think that
and
it works a
push
lot
buttons.
better for certain types of
We're starting
games.
off on PC.
Yeah.
We wanna go
And it's a lot
everywhere because we
quicker.
wanna
You know,
connect
sometimes you
players
just
across
don't.
mobile,
I think for
console, and I don't know,
more
maybe
heavily
even your
strategy
fridge.
based
Wherever you
games,
wanna play,
a
you
grid
wanna
system
there
might
at
be
your
better
fingertips.
sometimes instead of a full
This 3D
3D.
immersive experience is gonna
Like-
be
like
available
Lancer.
for free.
For example.
Exactly.
also
Yeah,
players
Lancer would be a
are
great
Getting
example.
back into Lancer, very good DTRPG system. If you, I would highly recommend looking into it. Very
But it
fun.
is very much it's a lot more akin. It's that happy medium between Dungeons and Dragons and something like Warhammer. You know, like you get that higher level of movement strategy.
It's Lancer's also very combat focused and like action focused as opposed to roleplay. Take Avatar and reverse it.
Exactly, because Avatar was almost nothing but narrative, and that was what held it back for me though. Was there wasn't enough hard hitting like system in there.
Digital and physical
Yeah.
Oh, hold up.
bundle. You will get this awesome Gold Dragon Mini to kickstart your Project Sigil collection.
So are you gonna have to buy individual models?
I hope not.
I would at least hope that you're getting a good amount of them when you buy, because they're gonna nickel and dime everybody. They're gonna expect you to pay monthly, then they're gonna expect you to also go and buy more. They want you to go and buy more. That was it. Okay, so it was a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, that's it. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Well then, I guess we'll just leave it up there so we can discuss for a few minutes. But yeah, so what is your overall thoughts? Because that end actually killed it for me. Like the ending of that ruined it.
I think it's just the one figure that you'd be paying for. I think that was the one-time deal. Is if you like pre-order it, you get that one figure.
But here's my thing, is I already know that they like to charge for like special looking dice that you can roll or different figures that you're going to have to buy. Then what is the point of the monthly subscription? That's my thing. I want one or the other. I don't want both. Either I'm paying the monthly subscription and I get everything, or I'm buying the assets individually. I do not like a combination of the two.
You're not doing both. I think this is another thing that I'm really hoping. I want this to succeed because I love D&D. It's what got me into TTRPG. It's what made me a good chunk of my friends.
For over 20 years. I've got a D&D tattoo on my arm. I'm obviously a fan. I just think that they're messing up this launch because they're getting greedy.
I just think it's one of those. I think Wizards needs to do reevaluating. I think they just need to step back and just.
I'll even go further. I think that Wizards needs to be left alone and Hasbro needs to mind their own. Because
it's fucking Hasbro that's ruining everything.
Hasbro just has its fingers all over this, telling them you need to make sure that our only thing that's really making us a lot of money right now makes us even more money. I'm sorry to tell you, but the reason it was making money is because we were happy, and you've done nothing since those statistics came out but try and ruin this franchise, Hasbro. Like, it's stupid. You do one or the other. Is it a monthly subscription or am I buying assets? One or the other.
I'm hoping that another boycott thing comes out.
It will if that's what they are literally doing right now. Like I said, this is me telling everybody right now, go and get TaleSpire. It's $25. It's one time and it does everything that system just showed you.
I think TaleSpire is just the better system right now currently,
and it's a one time.
It's also it's been out for how long has TaleSpire been out? It's already established. That's the thing, I think.
Well, it's not only already established, but it's constantly getting upgrades because it's technically like a lot of the video games and stuff in its beta phase, and it's already doing everything that I saw there. Yeah, it's a shined up little different looking package and everything with what D&D is doing. I would hope so with the amount of money that they're working with, but TaleSpire works just as good. Yeah, it has its flaws, but that's the point of it being in beta right now because everyone can work through it. You know, it's early access. They're working out their things, and it's already doing more and has more community support. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to see a lot more information that's going to convince me that I should be a part of this system that I feel like is more based around microtransactions than actually catering to the community that built it. Because D&D is a special thing. We don't need your supplement books because you have dungeon masters that create an immense amount of their own content without any of the junk that they are, I'm sorry, but you don't need Strixhaven and all these other ones there if you just have a good GM that knows how to fucking work their own magic a little bit for implementing their own systems. It's not rocket surgery after you played a campaign or two. I don't need as much hand-holding. We buy into D&D because we love D&D, not because we need it. But then they start nickel and diming us and saying, oh, the fan base isn't paying enough, and there's actually been leaked messages from Wizards of the Coast higher-ups that were saying, we need to go and find ways to make them pay more money because they got mad that the Dungeon Masters were the main ones that were buying the books. So they're trying to find a way that they can monthly ping you and make you have to need to pay the same amount as the Dungeon Masters are because it normally is on our backs to go and get all the books and everything. That's my problem right there. It's because they're just trying to find a way to make sure that the whole table gets pinged instead of just the Dungeon Master. Because that's how it's been. Why does everybody bring snacks for the dungeon master whenever they do? Because they spend the time and the money usually to make sure that the game is actually happening. That's just a tradition when it comes to this. That's why there's paid GMs now. But they're going to sit there and say, nope, that's not enough. Even though when it's our one franchise that's actually working over in Hasbro, we're going to say that it's still not enough for us. Because why? Because we're greedy. That's exactly what it is. It's a greed. It's greed. That's my problem with them, is they're sitting there and basically going and saying, you guys aren't paying us enough, even though you're the main ones that are paying us. That's what they told us. They took our hospitality and the fact that the community makes most of their content for them. We just buy the D&D stuff because we're loyal, but they've made it where our loyalty was taken advantage of. That's the problem I have. We were loyal and bought stuff because we loved their franchise, and they said that's still not enough.
I think I can't fault. Obviously I want to fault the entirety of Hasbro, but it's not like every worker's fault. It's just the higher ups. They need like a big management change. They need a management change.
Oh, it's the investors and the higher ups. It's always them. I'm not mad at just the normal workers over at Hasbro. This is about their higher ups that are controlling things 1000%. It's people that have probably never picked up a D20 trying to tell people how to roll a D20.
They need more people that have been in the community for a long time to actually like run it and have the community in mind. They don't have the community in mind with most of these things.
You look at something like Deadpool. Why does Deadpool work? Because Ryan Reynolds is passionate about it and puts everything he has into it because he's a fan. You have a bunch of people making decisions, like I said. You have a bunch of people telling me how to roll a D20 that's never picked up one. Those are not the people that need to be running this franchise and telling them what they need to be doing over at Wizards of the Coast. Because I think that Wizards of the Coast probably has a lot of really good intentions because they went through the effort of getting hired on at Wizards of the Coast, but you have a toy company trying to tell people how to run a tabletop role-playing game company. That's the problem here. They don't know what they're doing. They have a franchise they don't understand.
I want to know the specifics of the Wizards and Hasbro contract because I so hope
they own them.
That Wizards is able to like somehow get out of that.
Not unless Hasbro decides to sell them off, which is a possibility.
It's not a big possibility, but I mean, like, if Wizards can just be Wizards again,
yeah,
I think it'll be a lot better. There's a
chance.
Faith. I have faith. I have hope. I'm glad that they're trying their best. It's not great, but they're trying.
They're not trying their best. They're just maneuvering around. They're maneuvering around Hasbro. It's what they have to do. And I know, and that's the thing is they need to have whoever's higher up at Wizards need to have a good sit down and explain this stuff to them. That's the thing. Like, I understand that there's a limit to the amount of power that you have, but there's a point where you have to go and take the message boards and put it in the higher up's face and say, hey, you go and look at all of your top creators right now that we're not paying. Because that's the thing. Here's another thing that really makes me mad about Wizards of the Coast. There's a lot of really good tabletop gaming creators out there that made fantastic content and then they got bought. And I'm not mad at them because they make their money. But when I see a lot of the content creators that were the reasons that D&D got prominent again, you go and look at your Critical Roles, you go and, you look at a lot of these people that were the reason that it was starting to get popular again. And that's fine. They reached out to them. We'll pay you guys this money, much money to promote all of our good stuff. The problem is then you have a bunch of falsities out there because now they're only allowed to say the good things about it. So basically they buy up all of the biggest voices that are going to talk about their stuff. They buy them out and then they start messing with the company because that's exactly what they did. Then they started messing with what was working and trying to milk us more because they've already bought the voices that were going to tell us what to think about it. But it didn't work because they didn't buy up all of us. They have a lot of us old school ones that weren't, how would you put it, kosher enough to fit along with the type of content that Hasbro's wanting to put out there. They want family-friendly content. So you're going to have somebody like me that they're never going to come to me about wanting to promote them. Good. Because I don't want that. I want to sit here and tell you right now that the way that you're handling the company right now is foolish. It's foolish because we have Paizo. And for anybody that doesn't know, Paizo is a company of people that used to work on Dungeons and Dragons. They got tired of the corporate BS and opened their own company and made a fantastic system called Pathfinder. Maybe you don't want medieval. Well, what do? Starfinder. You got it in space. And it actually has good ship systems as opposed to a certain particular space-based system that came out for 5th edition a few years ago that didn't tell you how to do space combat. How do you put out a space book without space combat in it, wizards?
That just feels like a major oversight.
And they did
I feel like there was like a sticky note that got like swept under a desk into a trash can there. I feel like the janitor may have taken that off of a computer by chance.
Here's the thing. I understand that there is that centralization that goes around Dungeons and Dragons because of name. It is the tissues of tabletop gaming. It's a household name. You are 100% correct on that. Here's the problem with it, though, is there's better systems out there. You want to go for a more futuristic, spacey-looking setting? There's this fantastic thing called Cyberpunk. You might have heard of it before. That started out as a tabletop game. Go and play that. You want more of like the dark, spooky kind of thing, but you want more of a 30s and 40s aesthetic? Oh my goodness. Call it Cthulhu.
That's what it was called. I wanted to call that one out.
Yeah, a fantastic system.
A lot of good things about it.
It's fantastic. It's great. There's like a whole horror aesthetic where your like character's mentality of where they're like mentally sound is at is a meter on there that's very fun. Oh, you want to do something like you didn't like Strixhaven. It wasn't quite the Harry Potter, thing that you were looking for. Maybe I want to go and play a different system and try out Kids on Brooms. Oh my goodness. There's a million systems out there. And that's my problem, is that I understand that you're going to hear D&D and that's going to immediately make you think. If you go and pick up to the average person, go and show them your set of dice and go, these are the dice that I use for this game that I play. They're going to go, oh, D&D? That's fine. I get it. That's where we're at as a society. But that means that the people that are actually playing the game, it is on us to go out there and spread the good word of better games because there's a lot of them out there. That's true. There's just better games.
I think... Here's what D&D is slowly becoming. D&D is becoming the baby's first TTRPG.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah,
and then it's fine.
Yeah, but then everybody starts out with Pokemon and then moves on to real turn-based RPGs.
Yeah, but that people that stick around are starting to realize what Hasbro and Wizards are doing. So then they want to go on to the other TTRPGs. And then people are starting to realize, oh wait, these ones are just better.
Yeah.
So they pick up the D&D, they learn the basics, like how to make a character sheet, what to look for, how to roleplay and stuff, and then they just move on to the other systems.
Yeah. Well,
and then all I have to relearn is just how to make characters.
That's the problem, though, is you have to remember that I worked with the company Artificer Alley for about a year and a half. And one of the services that they had is they hosted local games. And one of their biggest problems is you had all of these people that holds on to 5th edition like it's their security blanket. And they will not play another system. Like, that is the only one that they'll play. And it bothers the hell out of me. Like, get out of your safe space, people. And I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying that there's better games out there for you. He is right. Pancake is correct. Give yourself a good old D&D start to see if you enjoy tabletop gaming. I personally think that there's better games that you can start with. But if you're just wanting to bite into a franchise that has plenty of people that you could find to play with, because that's the thing, it's accessible. You can find people to easily play D&D with. You're probably going to have a harder time finding somebody that wants to go and play some of these other systems with you because you are essentially going out and giving them the thing that everyone already knows. That's fine. I just think that after you've spent a year in the tabletop gaming space, it's time to take the training wheels off and play a real game. I'm just saying. They're like, do you just only play one video game your whole life? You pick up one, you pick up one RPG and that's the only one you're ever going to play? No! You go and play other games for different systems.
You gotta play multiple.
Yeah. So why not play different like tabletop gaming systems. There's so many ones out there that do different things. You know, they're meant for different settings. You go and look at something like a mech game, like a mech tabletop game. Why would that need to be a different rule set than something like 5th edition? Because you need rule sets for overheating and specific body parts on the mech being damaged. That's an essential part to a mech game. That's not something that's included in 5th edition.
Fifth edition is just too, like, bland.
I hate how baby gloves it is. And what I mean by that is, if you go and look at older editions of Dungeons & Dragons, depending on the race that you would choose, you would have negatives. Certain things played better as certain classes. That's just a fact. I'm sorry, but if you're playing as a Loxodon, you should have a plus to strength. But they wanted a balancing system. But I'm sorry, this is a role-playing game. Life isn't fair. That's my problem, is they wanted to balance things as opposed to make things logical, which is what people come to these types of games for. I want logic, not balance. If that makes sense. I just think that it's silly that, you know, certain races would have more abilities, and not everything has dark vision or attack of opportunity.
I think it's one of those things that, like, again, they're just trying to make it accessible, which is not a bad thing.
It's just baby
but it's
gloves.
Like, if you want to make things more challenging, there's so much tweaking you have to do.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. When you could just take a different system, like Pathfinder, Lancer, Besom, just to name a few. Call of Cthulhu.
GURPS.
What?
GURPS.
Don't know what that one is.
GURPS is a system that's very similar to Big Eyes Small Mouth, where it's basically a build your own system kind of thing. Yeah, which a lot of people like those ones because you can pretty much just go and like create your own as opposed to having pre-made stuff for you.
Yeah.
But nah, I just think that there's I just personally think that Wizards, you got a lot of cleaning up to do if you're gonna make me come back. Because, like I said, I currently have 0 Dungeons and Dragons on my current slate of tabletop gaming. Not a single thing I'm doing is 5th edition, 5.5. I might end up trying to cover some stuff if it actually starts getting some press worth talking about when you release your new core rulebook, but I don't currently have any interest in actually going and buying it myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll buy the new rulebook either. I think I'll just...
We'll see.
I like D&D. Yeah. I like having fun, but it's just the people are making it fun. The system is just kind of there.
Exactly.